differently.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. This is Below the Line Podcast, the show that proves that the best insights come from outside the industry. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Jesse, here to translate whatever this man says into just everyday, normal, casual speech.
Yeah.
Although I don't think I'll have to do that much today on this episode. I think today Dylan is going to be speaking from the heart, speaking from the soul. And for that reason alone, he's going to be talking in plain English. Maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a somber episode today, everybody.
Well, somber. Okay. I didn't know about somber.
Somber. Well, when I hear speaking from the heart, to me that means it's going to be a little melancholic.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, chat, I'm not going to mince words. I'm just going to dive right into it. It breaks my heart to say that we're going to be talking about Supergirl today. And the reason why I say it breaks my heart is because I was so excited for this movie. I genuinely looked forward to it. There was already a lot of haters for it, and I was like, no. They're just being stupid. They're just hating because it's a woman.
It was like Captain Marvel 2.0.
Yeah, it's like a female led protagonist. Like, people are just hating. Like, they need to shut up and watch the movie. So that's what I did. I kept my mouth shut and I watched the movie. And then I watched the movie, so I can no longer keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna get out the way now. Supergirl was bad. I was gonna say meh, but. Meh is for Toy Story 5. Supergirl was bad. And it breaks my heart to say that because I feel like no matter how many flowers or however else I try to praise this movie, I'm a guy. You're a guy. It's going to come off as like men hating women when that's not what I'm trying to do, but that's going to be the optics of this like of anybody talking negatively about Supergirl. So that being said, with all those full disclosures out the way, I'm going to attempt to talk about this movie anyway as a man, which I don't think that matters as much. Like, the reason why Supergirl is bad and not is not because it's a female led movie. That's not the reason at all. If it was a man in this movie, it'd still be bad. If Superman, like the Superman movie that we got last year, followed this exact plot, it'd be bad. So I'm gonna let Mr. Melancholy speak over here about it because he is the bigger DC superhero nerd than I am. He was all about the James Gunns when he got announced as a DCU director or the media guy,
the head of the studio, whatever. Like the chief creative officer. I don't even know what his technical title is, honestly.
It's what Kevin Feige does, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, more or less, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's not that I disagree with what Jesse said in terms of the way he wanted to put out these disclaimers, but I just think that it shows how ridiculous and sensitive everybody is if people are unable to criticize a movie just because a woman happens to be the lead. That shows how far our culture has fallen because people think there's some kind of implicit malice in this. I think that's ridiculous. I make no apologies for whatever's going to be said in this episode. So I've really had some time to sit with this movie because we watched it opening weekend. We were there opening night in a theater that was not necessarily packed compared to Superman.
No.
So I've really had time to sit with this. After we watched the movie, I got in my car and I drove around for a good 40 minutes. Not because of the movie necessarily, just because, well, kind of the same weekend I watched Toy Story 5. I was in my feelings, but that's not relevant to this particular story. The point is, I've had a lot of time to sit with my feelings on this movie, and I've watched a lot of videos, both from people that I respect on YouTube and people that I don't respect at all. And because I've had the time to really sit with this, as well as watch TikToks from a lot of people,
Right.
I think I've actually come to the conclusion that I would say Supergirl is aggressively mediocre. I don't think it was terrible, because I think terrible is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Right.
But I do think that relative to what people were expecting, especially after the way Superman really captured the cultural zeitgeist, the way that Superman just became like this phenomenon. I mean, you had people saying kindness is punk rock because of that movie.
Yeah. If anything, like at the end of Supergirl, like Supergirl turned you into a Superman apologist.
It absolutely
Because
did.
you were not the biggest fan. Like you kind of liked it at first, and then you kind of like, as like the year went, because it's been a year now, as like the year went on, like you kind of were like, actually, I don't really like Superman.
I think I
To
just said,
now you're like, oh, you know what? I was wrong. Superman is great.
I think I said maybe in the episode in episode 4 of this season that the more that time has gone on, the less I like Superman, because I feel like it's just not memorable to me.
Yeah.
Or was it episode 3? I can't remember.
I can't remember when you said it.
I just know it was very
that.
recently. Yeah. It wasn't even season 2 that I said that. It was one of the first episodes of this season.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember saying, the more time has gone on, the less and less that I like Superman, because I think you had mentioned that you had rewatched it during Christmas because it's an easy movie to just kind of get into because it's very day in the life of Superman. But yes, Jesse's right. Supergirl has turned me into a Superman apologist. But the reason I say Supergirl is aggressively mediocre instead of some people that are getting on YouTube and TikTok and saying, oh my gosh, this is a train wreck. James Gunn needs to be fired. We need to blow it up. The caveats that I would add to those statements is, for one, a lot of those people are probably Snyder cultists, so you can't really take them at their word, because they're already coming from a place of
hate.
Yes, hate and being dishonest. They're being disingenuous, I should say.
Right.
And secondly, this is why I say I think it actually behooved us to wait to record this episode, because I've really had time to think about this. And the reason I'm not in a rush to say, let's blow up the DCU, 3 words: The Incredible Hulk. That was the second installment in the MCU. People act like it doesn't exist because it wasn't produced by Marvel Studios and they didn't have the rights to the character at the time, but it is the second installment in the MCU.
Right.
And it was not exactly well received critically or by audiences. So Supergirl being the second feature film in the DCU, for people to have this kind of reaction, my response would be, have you all just conveniently forgot about the Incredible Hulk? So let's pump the brakes. Let's have some patience. Right.
Yeah, that's understandable. And for what it's worth, Supergirl, like, yeah, like I said what I said. I think it's bad. But that being said, I can also see your angle where you're saying it's aggressively mediocre, and I feel like that's more poignant because there's a lot of things that this movie does where it's like, yeah, this is just like not good. It's like you're trying to be not good on purpose. And I'm gonna give examples. Don't worry, not just so I don't sound like I'm talking on my ass, but yeah, this movie is not good. I mean, I shouldn't say it. I mean, you know, that's what I'm gonna say. It wasn't good. There were a lot of like positives I liked about it. There were a lot of negatives I liked about it. But like at the end of the movie, it was more net negative than it was net positive.
Right.
So,
yeah. Look, I'm not trying to come on here and play devil's advocate and say, well, actually, I don't think it's as bad as people are saying, because that would be me being disingenuous. I say aggressively mediocre for very specific reasons that we will get into. But yeah, I think when we look at what's been happening with Supergirl and the discourse surrounding it, I think before we get into the movie, the one thing I just want to say is that, you know, since we both addressed it at the very beginning of the episode, is I feel bad for Millie Alcock and the people who worked on this film, because it's just, to me, what's happening is this is emblematic, I think, of a wider problem with the way that the industry treats female-led superhero films, because I just feel like they are constantly being let down by the material, whether it's the screenplay, the production value, the director, the perspective. I mean, look, I'm not trying to come on here and take immediate shots at Craig Gillespie, but why is a Supergirl film being directed by a 42-something-year-old British man? Mm-hmm. I don't understand that choice.
Has he done other, like,
I genuinely don't understand this. He has done, I'm going to have to reference Letterboxd, because that's how much I can't tell you his other work right off the top of my head.
Right.
But he has done other work. And when I say the women in these films are being let down, they're even being let down by the screenwriters, because even though the screenwriter for Supergirl was a woman, she has only one other writing credit to her name, and it's for a short film. Mm-hmm. She has no feature film experience. And I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't like amazing flash in the pans where people write their first screenplay and it turns out to be a fantastic film. But usually these are people who have like worked on a screenplay for 10 plus years, and then they finally get it in front of the right person. A good enough director brings their vision to life, and all of a sudden they're seen as like, oh shit. Right. You know, this person might be the next great writer in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Whereas what's happening here with Supergirl is it was written by Anna Noguera. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your name, but she only has one other writing credit to her name. And this seems inexcusable to me. You know, it's a film called We Win, and it's 11 minutes long. It's just not the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like writing for a short film and writing for a major Hollywood production where the budget is 150 million plus, those two things just aren't the same.
Right.
I'm sorry, but specifically,
that's interesting. I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah,
that is an interesting point.
That's why I said I've really spent the past week like reflecting on this. Mm. So Craig Gillespie has directed a film called I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie, that came out in 2017. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fine. Like, it was an enjoyable movie, and it got awards nominations, so it can't be that bad.
Right.
He directed the terrible Cruella film, the live-action movie from 2021. Mm-hmm. Then he directed Lars and the Real Girl, which is probably, I would say, his most well-known work, because it has Ryan Gosling as the lead. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Ryan Gosling obviously attracts a certain audience. And then he also directed a film called The Finest Hours in 2016. So he does have feature film pedigree, but I just, for the life of me, I don't understand. Oh, my mistake. He's Australian, not British. Mm. But the point is, I don't know why a 40-year-old Australian guy is directing Supergirl. And that's not me saying that a man can't direct a female-led superhero film. But I feel like the perspective of this entire movie was kind of handicapped. Mm-hmm. Because for one thing, you have a screenwriter that doesn't have a ton of experience.
Right.
Craig Gillespie, while he does have other work in his filmography, I don't think he's ever done anything that's quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like Millie Alcock was let down by the talent surrounding her. And I think you could say the same for other female-led superhero films in the past, because my biggest criticism of Captain Marvel when it came out was I just felt like that movie had no voice. Mm-hmm. It felt like nobody directed it. There was no intentionality behind it whatsoever. And it just felt like, to me, that was one of the first movies that felt like it was made in Kevin Feige's underground money printing factory.
Right.
And, obviously that problem has only spiraled out of control as the MCU has continued to decline.
Right.
But I think Captain Marvel was one of the earliest defenders of that problem. And I think Supergirl, for all of James Gunn's blustering about we're never going to put a movie into production unless the script is perfect. Like, we need the finalized script to be perfect. And that's how we will judge whether or not we put a movie into production. I'm sorry, but I don't believe James Gunn when he's saying this, because I refuse to believe that he read the final script for Supergirl and said, yes, this is the best we can do. Let's put it into production. The cynical part of me thinks that he saw the success of Superman. Peter Safran saw the success of Superman, and they saw the public reception to it. Like I said, it was a cultural phenomenon. Kindness is punk rock. People quoting the movie. People memeing the movie. Crypto was a big deal. And I think they wanted to capitalize on that by making a movie that was Superman adjacent. Mm-hmm. And so they rushed this out. And as a result, I think Millie Alcock and, the other stars of the film are the ones taking the heat for it, instead of the people who should actually be held responsible, which is James Gunn. And I already forgot the screenwriter's name.
Right.
The screenwriter, Craig Gillespie, and the producers, Peter Safran. I mean, I just refuse to believe that they saw what this movie was and said, yes, this is the perfect final script, that we're preaching about when we first took the jobs here at DC Studios. We're only going to make movies if the script is perfect. I don't believe you.
Yeah. All right, chat, let me translate that. So what Dylan is basically saying, right, is that the people behind Supergirl, they fucked us and they fucked them. Like what's her name?
Millie Alcock.
That one girl from House of Dragons.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. She stars in House of Dragons.
Yeah, like that one girl. No, I agree with you. And like, I'm already going to start listing just one example. The irony in what I'm about to say next, I'm well aware of it, but this movie would have been better if it was directed by James Gunn.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Thank you. The director who directed it, Craig Gillespie. I'm sorry, dude, but superhero movies are just not your field of expertise. And I'm not even talking about like the screenplay or the no, I am talking about the direction, but like I'm not talking about the screenplay or like what was said or how they acted or whatever. I'm just like I told this to Dylan when we were watching it. Like when we watch Superman, it's like, oh, when he flies or when he punches something, like you kind of like, yeah,
there's a visceral quality to the film.
Like it might not be like, fucking Zack Snyder, like Man of Steel punches
not.
Or whatever.
Definitely
but
not.
Like there's an impact that you do feel when like these, well, they're not, I mean, I guess they're called metahumans or whatever. When these metahumans, superheroes basically like hit something really hard. Mm-hmm. In Superman, like we got that. We saw that visually. Mm-hmm. So you would think for like another character who is also, Kryptonian and who also has like the same powers basically, like why do her action scenes look worse than Superman. So like that's just one example. Like the actual fighting, like the even the choreography, I'm gonna be comparing this movie a lot to Superman, but go back to Superman and with Mr. Terrific and his fight in his solo fight while he's protecting what's her name, Lois, in his like little red bubble, and James Gunn has like that one song playing in the background. It's like a whole vibe, and he's fighting everybody. That showed more choreography and creativity than like any of the Supergirl fights, which is not okay. Like you, man, like this is what bothers me, is because like they tried so hard to try like angle this as like a kind of like, I don't want to call it a girl boss movie, but in effect that's kind of how it turned out to be. It turned into like this girl boss movie rather than just being like a movie about Supergirl, and it just happens to be that yes, she's a woman and all that, but like she's still like a superhero. Instead, it kind of felt like it was like playing up like the part of the girl boss a little bit too much. And what I mean by that is like just the tropes that were used. Like, I'm gonna get into it. The main villain of this movie, he is a real character in the comic book or the comic story that
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes, like he's a real villain in that story or whatever. But they changed his like character design. I don't know why, because in the movie he just looked like some generic Hot Topic main villain. But like in the comic books, he looked, I mean, yeah, maybe he looked a little bit generic too, with this like long red hair and beard. But I feel like that look was better. So we have like the like making like the characters look super generic, or maybe even like maybe they try to make them look a little bit too like a little bit more vile. That way you can like really like play at the heartstrings. Like, oh no, like these group of these group of raiders or whatever, they come out here to planets and whatever, and they kidnap young girls, because apparently, and they say this in the movie, like apparently
they're traffickers.
Yeah, they're traffickers, and like they're only like they're an all male species, so they have to traffic women in order to like propagate their species. It's just like that could have been a plot. So yeah, like that could have been like a plot in Superman, but it wasn't. And like I don't think, like I'm not trying to get us canceled, but I feel like the reason why like the raiders and the traffickers were written the way they were written is because like, okay, yeah, like let's make a detestable male character so that way like all like the women can like like band together and like try to like, well, because like they're obviously gonna be against like this sort of behavior. But it's like I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way that they kind of like they made this movie like with too much emphasis on the fact that like Kara's a woman, and like rather than the fact that like she's a superhero or a superpowered person who just happens to be a woman. Like I feel like the focus on this movie was too much on her being a girl, if that makes sense, instead of just her being like her own like character. It's like, and this is kind of like my problem with superhero movies that like have women-led heroes, is that like the movie focuses more on like the character or on like the person being like a woman rather than like she being a character who happens to be a woman. So it's just like all the tropes and the everything around the movie just revolves around like that, like, oh, like women are perfect, they can do no wrong, and this and that, like a real Mary Sue. Like I'm specifically talking about Captain Marvel in this case, like a real like she can do no wrong, and like all this and that. It's rather than writing like a character with flaws and like and they kind of tried to do that with Supergirl. They try to make her like this flawed character compared to her cousin, who is obviously like this who sees the good in everything, and he's such like just a wonderful guy, and I mean, which is true, like given like Superman's backstory, he was raised in a little farm in the middle of Kansas or whatever. He didn't see his planet blow up or whatever. Like he has no, I mean, yeah, he knows of his like heritage, but he never really lived it. For all intents and purposes, the Superman that we're getting currently in this new DCU era, he's got golden retriever energy. And Supergirl is like the opposite of that. Like she has trauma. She has like actual like things holding her back. Like the reason why she parties on a red sun in order to get drunk is because like she wants to forget or like not live in like her past, which still like haunts and traumatizes her. So like from that perspective, it's like, okay, yeah, like you're like, this is good. Like you're trying to write a character with trauma, and like you're trying to like, make her a foil to Superman in that she's not this good-natured person like Superman is. She's a bit like, she's got more flaws, and she's kind of fucked up. And like all these things which would be good in a movie, like this would be like a good way to showcase a character. And like, how are you going to either redeem her, or like, how are you going to make, like, if a character is this fucked up, how are you going to show them, like, through all these flaws, like that they're still like, a hero. Kind of like Ben Reilly in Spider Noir. Like he's got all these flaws. He's an alcoholic, this and that, but he still tries to do like the right thing or good thing, even when he would rather take like the coward's way out, or like not be involved, or like, just drink himself to like death. He still wants to do the right thing. So it's like something like that. And they didn't really do that with Supergirl. They kind of like they went in the kind of the right direction, and then they hardline left.
Yeah, see, I think you highlighted kind of what I was trying to say at the beginning of the episode, which is that I think what's happening with Supergirl is it really speaks to a broader issue with the way that these female-led superhero films are approached. It's not necessarily the fact that they are female-led. It's that Hollywood has this very wrong-headed approach of how these movies should be made. Because, like you said, that there is the girl boss trope, and so much emphasis is placed on kind of the identity politics of the movie, instead of writing a three-dimensional character and or human being. And you see this, you brought up Captain Marvel as an example, and it's true. Captain Marvel does not have a flaw in the film. She does not undergo any change or meaningful character development.
Nope.
She just needs to be told, you're perfect the way you are. You're so strong. And then that's it. She defeats whatever Jude Law was cosplaying as in that movie, like in half a second.
Right.
And that's it. But
it's like her powers like felt like just completely unearned.
Yeah. And see, you can apply that same logic to every other female-led superhero film that's been made, whether it's Black Widow, the Marvels, what is the Wakanda Forever?
Yeah.
With Riri. I mean,
Right.
just totally nothing characters on the page, because the problem is, and again, I said I'm not going to make any apologies here. Hollywood seems to really struggle with the fact that men and women are fundamentally different.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they can't like similar things. Like that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it is okay to acknowledge that there is a distinction between masculinity and femininity. I mean, for example, like this is kind of cliche, but let's say you're having a date night with your girlfriend. Like, what is the common like joke scenario? It's like she wants to go watch the rom-com, the guy wants to watch the action movie. But in this particular case, I think the girlfriend is more likely to make the concession and willing to watch the action movie than the boyfriend would be to go watch the romantic comedy. Because, see, when I say I really had time to sit with this and reflect on it, 60% of the audience for Supergirl was men. So you cannot blame this performance whether it be the audience reception or the box office receipts, on men. Sorry, that talking point, gone out the window, because over half of the audience was male dominated, and 65% of the audience demographic was people over 25. So you cannot say like, oh, this is just toxic superhero fandom, misogyny, male, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't work. The people who did not show up for this movie are the supposed target demographic. Where were the Gen Z women? This movie didn't appeal to them. Again, this Millie Alcock and all of the performers involved, I don't know who played Ruthie, the little girl.
I'm not sure.
I can look it up here in a second, but I want to finish what I'm saying. All of the people involved in this film were let down by the Hollywood machine of how they approach women-led superhero movies. That is the bottom line. It is not implicitly that because this was a female-led superhero film that it failed. It is because they refuse to learn from their mistakes. They do the same thing over and over again. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep going back to Captain Marvel because it's kind of like the original offender, so to speak. But if you look at the one outlier with female-led superhero films, it's Wonder Woman. And what is the difference between Wonder Woman and all these other female-led superhero movies? Again, I make no apologies for what I'm about to say. Wonder Woman is unafraid to make Diana Prince feminine. She acts like a woman, okay? And kind of like, I haven't watched the movie in a few years, but just off the top of my head, she gets excited when she sees a baby. Like, I'm not saying all women, fawn over babies, but I think women, more naturally have a predilection to like babies. That's biology. Yeah. And also, Wonder Woman has a romance subplot. Again, it is okay to acknowledge that there are differences between men and women. And a lot of male-led superhero films also have romantic subplots. The Batman has a romantic subplot. But what I'm saying is that Wonder Woman was not afraid to give Diana Prince a love interest. And another thing is that when Diana meets Steve in Wonder Woman, she respects him. She's not condescending. She's not a girl boss. She doesn't treat him like he's evil just because he's a man. She respects him. She likes him, and she recognizes his own humanity. Even though she could rip him apart because she is a god, she could destroy this dude. Yeah. She chooses to love him, not love immediately in the romantic sense, but love in the sense that I see you as a human being and I respect you. I'm not going to treat you like you were beneath me. Whereas every other female-led superhero movie does the exact opposite. And I think the biggest thing about Wonder Woman, the single biggest thing that led to its success is that for the entire film, Diana is wrong. She thinks that if she goes out there and defeats Ares, she can end World War I. But she's wrong because she underestimates humankind's capacity for evil and for violence. Just because war can get very ugly does not mean that it can be reduced down to this very simple black and white. Oh, this is this is good. This is evil. And, for some conflicts you can, like World War II. But I think, again, if we're talking about modern sensibilities and the way these movies are made, people desperately try to reduce every single conflict in the world to oppressors and oppressed. It just does not work that way. And Wonder Woman was unafraid to make Diana flawed. She is wrong for the entire runtime of the film until the climax where she finally learns, oh, this was my character flaw and this is how I overcome it.
Right.
This is how she grows. No other female-led superhero movie does this. And there's a reason Wonder Woman was seen as a trailblazer. It wasn't because it was the first female-led superhero movie. Technically, it wasn't. That terrible Halle Berry Catwoman movie exists. It wasn't the first one. Wonder Woman is considered a trailblazing film because it is actually aspirational for young girls. Like, I actually believe that little girls can watch Wonder Woman and feel inspired by that.
Right.
I do not believe that a little girl would watch Supergirl, watch her get drunk off her ass, and then just like puke and pee in every other scene. What about this is like aspirational to little girls?
Right. I mean, I was okay with like the whole like, oh, this is like a party girl type of interpretation.
It's not that implicitly, but what I'm saying is that Wonder Woman has aspirational qualities to it as a film.
Yeah.
Like, here's the best thing I can say is that take everything I just said into account. Diana is flawed. She is wrong for the entire movie. She thinks that if she slays Ares, World War I is over and she will bring peace to the world of man. She's wrong, but in that same breath, she is such a strong, confident, and competent woman that she can go out there and destroy the entire no man's land battlefield in a breathtaking, riveting sequence in the same breath. So she can be flawed, but at the same time, she is also vastly superior in terms of strength and agility and just overall competence to everyone else in the film. Both of those things can be true. And that, I believe, is aspirational for not just little girls, but for women in general. That you can be wrong, you can be flawed, but at the same time, you are capable of great things. Nothing in Supergirl even comes close to that kind of messaging.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to agree. I think but I also think that we're still at the beginning of Supergirl's, like, was it like her
story,
her redemption arc, or that too, but not much of a redemption arc, but like just her, because like at the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, like she quote unquote learns her lesson, not really, but like, because at the start of the movie, she's like this. This drunk party girl on another planet with the red sun. At the end of the movie, she decides, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back home to Earth with Clark and be a superhero and all that. So that is kind of aspirational, but not to the same degree that you're talking about. And also, like, from the climax of the movie, it doesn't feel as if her character is like fully done yet. Like there's still some more evolving to do. Whereas with Superman, this might be it. Unless if they decide to like adapt the injustice arc or whatever, like what we got in Superman, like that's his character. He's this kind-natured.
I don't see James Gunn being that cringe.
Yeah, like I don't see like the Superman character changing much, unless if like Lois dies and it's like the whole injustice storyline where Superman goes evil. But besides that, it's kind of like, all right, the Superman that we got established, like. That's established. Like
that's who he is.
That's who he is. There's no character arc can be involved or whatever, which is fine. Not every character in every movie needs to have a character arc. Sometimes you can they're fine just being the way they are. So for Superman, I feel like like his arc is basically done. He might have one more in him depending on which way the story goes, but for the most part, I feel like he's a done character. Supergirl, on the other hand, she's a work in progress, and maybe she'll get better. I'm hoping she does, but just the way that Supergirl happened, like the way the story progressed and unfolded, like I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't give me much to root for like Supergirl. Like she, and like I don't want to make this seem like, oh, it's because she's like a woman or whatever. Like no, it's just her character was specifically written to be this way. Which okay, that's fine, but then you kind of like never do anything to redeem this character in the same movie. So because maybe in the next DC movie or whatever, she's still like a party girl or whatever, but now she's on Earth, so she can't get drunk, but she still wants to. Like I don't know in what direction her character is going, because it seems as if like her character like was never really fully fleshed out or written well.
Yeah.
Like from the start of the movie up until the end, it's like, all right, well, like obviously we know her character arc is still going in like future DC films and whatnot, but in her own solo film, as the girls say, or as the girls don't say, she didn't slay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree that that Supergirl could be aspirational, especially with this specific context of overcoming trauma, because obviously, like you said, Kara is someone who actually lived through the destruction of Krypton and then had to watch her parents die because her dad's quote unquote idea to try and preserve some of the Kryptonian people was a massive failure, and they all got radiation poisoning from kryptonite that was apparently in the soil or something.
Which I thought was smart.
No, I thought that was smart.
That's a praise.
I think that the flashbacks in Supergirl are the best part of the movie. That's a problem, but they're also the best part of the movie. So I agree that idea in itself is aspirational, because I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to. Like of course you want to believe that you can overcome your own hardships or trauma. Of course. That's a great linchpin to start with. But I just think, again, Millie Alcock is let down by everything surrounding her, because I don't think the screenplay really did her any favors at all. No. I think that the movie was very poorly written. And also I would say that I think the big issue, if you were to compare again something like Supergirl to Wonder Woman, is that again, like Supergirl is technically flawed, yes, in the sense that she is, traumatized from seeing her planet, just completely implode, losing her parents in such a terrible way, and feeling like she doesn't really have a people, she doesn't have a home, because she has the firsthand experience of it, whereas Clark never did. So technically she is flawed, and obviously that leads to the alcoholism and just the kind of emotional numbing with the partying. All that is well and good, but the problem is the way it's presented to us as the audience. Like, it's kind of played for laughs. And I don't think that's the way to approach it, because my earlier comment, I didn't mean like her using alcohol in itself is a bad thing. A lot of my favorite characters in fiction are massive drug addicts or alcoholics. So that in itself is not the problem. I think the problem is the way that the source material is handled, because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, like I won't get too into the weeds about this, because I know not a lot of people are comic book readers, but the comic itself is actually a very optimistic and vibrant, even down to like the artwork. It's actually a very optimistic and vibrant story.
Really?
Yeah. So the general premise is the same though. Like, Kara is like hopping from planet to planet that have red suns so she can get drunk, but she somehow never loses this kind of idea that things can get better. Like tomorrow, it's called Woman of Tomorrow for a reason, and the reason is that she kind of somehow maintains this mindset that tomorrow is another opportunity to try again. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she is still caught in that same cycle, but the comic never really loses the focus of that philosophy. Whereas the movie, that philosophy is nowhere to be found. Like you mentioned this earlier, that Clark is this very optimistic, hopeful, kind of like almost dorky do-gooder.
Yeah.
And there's this
golden retriever.
There's a very specific scene in the movie where Kara is having a conversation with Ruthie, and she says something like, Clark is naive, whereas I see the truth. Or he sees the good in people and I see the truth. Something like that.
Yeah. Something
to that effect. And the point is, the movie never really elaborates on what they are trying to say with that specific scene, because I think a major issue as well is that the movie frames Kara's struggle as having a lot of validity to it, which it does, but at the same time, it's hard to walk like the tightrope of acknowledging that Kara is going through a lot of pain, but also, putting down Clark in the process, because that kind of creates a contradicting philosophy within the DCU, where it's like, well, what are we supposed to take away from these movies? Because Superman was a very emotionally effective movie for a lot of people. Again, I keep going back to this. Kindness is punk rock. But then Supergirl comes in and she's like, well, he sees the good in people, but I see the truth. So what really do you want us to take away from all of this? Because I think the problem is they're just trying to walk a tightrope that they have no idea how to actually walk.
Right. Yeah. I'm in complete agreement with all that, because like the whole, like, I think you said it best with like the tightrope metaphor, because that's what it feels like. It's like this movie is trying to walk like the edge of like trying to appeal to a broader audience while also trying to be a girl boss movie. Like I hate that I'm calling it a girl boss movie, but that's kind of like what it sort of amounts to, because even though like Kara has like all this trauma and like because alcoholism is a real thing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, and again, I'm bringing it up like for the second time, but like when Ben Reilly in Spider Noir, like he's got his whole character is like fucking like dealing with alcohol and being an alcoholic. And I feel like that, I mean, sure, it was like a mini series, so it had more time to expand on it, but still, I feel like showing how he grappled with alcohol and like how he tries to like, overcome it sometimes, or like try to be better about it, versus like Supergirl with Kara, and like the only reason she really changes is because of like that little girl that's introduced like at the beginning of the movie. Like the whole reason for like the movie happening is because of like this little girl whose family is massacred by Krem, the what a dumb name too, but that's his name in the comics, so I'm gonna roll with it. Krem, like the trafficker, he kills this little girl's family, and so now the little girl wants revenge, but she's a little girl, so she goes to look for help, and ultimately it ends up being Supergirl that helps her, because the little girl just, not out of like the kindness of her own heart or whatever, it's more, or because she thought it was like the right thing to do. It's more so that like the little girl annoyed her enough to do it. And now you're going to learn that that's a fucking lie. The real reason Supergirl decides to help this little girl, and again, it's not from the kindness of her own heart, It's because these traffickers, specifically Krem, shoots her dog, paralyzes Crypto. And this is like now, if we were like, what's that one channel that does like the sins? If we were cinema sins or whatever,
Sins.
this is now like the second sin that I'm gonna count. Crypto, who is Kara's dog, had more screenplay and more things to do in Superman the movie than in Supergirl's own fucking movie. Someone make that make sense to me, because I thought that was fucking like ridiculous. How the fuck do you have Crypto, a dog, like you said earlier, was beloved from like the Superman movie, and then we come to find out it's not even his dog, it's her dog. So like, okay, cool, we're gonna get more Crypto, only for this movie to sideline Crypto for like a good majority of it. Like
About 70%.
Crypto was a lot tougher in fucking Superman than he was here. And I can get it. You know, the poison was super strong. The poison should have killed any other being or paralyzed any other being. But because Crypto is Kryptonian, obviously he's going to live that or whatever. But they're also on a red sun, so he's not recovering fast enough. Because I think later... she gets shot with the poison too.
Why didn't she just fly Crypto to a planet with a yellow sun?
Exactly. So it's kind of like you push like the dog to the side and make him. Was that the reason? Like in the comics too, like the dog got shot.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. See. The character of Crypto, or rather. Like first of all, it's not even a real dog. It's a fucking CGI dog. But in Superman, like they made Crypto like a whole character. Like he actually helped. Like he did little things here or there. Like besides being cute as shit, like he actually did things like in the plot to help it like push it forward. In Supergirl, he does none of that. He is completely useless. Still a good boy though. Still a good CGI boy, but. It does nothing in this movie. And I don't know, like the actual characters in Supergirl boils down to Supergirl, the little girl, what's her name, Ruthie, and Krem, like the main villain. And I guess no, and actually, there is one character that.
How have we not brought this up?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like there is like this character, like. If he had more screen time, he would have redeemed the movie. Like, hot take, not really. And this is Dylan's hot take. I'm stealing it, but this movie would have been a lot better if fucking Lobo was like the actual antagonist of the film. Yeah, because you can't kill Lobo, so it would have ended up like, all right, like you an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. So let's talk about it actually. Like, Lobo, like to actually praise the movie, and oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this for a male character in a female-led movie. This just makes me look like a piece of shit. But Lobo, this beautiful toxic mess, honestly, he did a lot for this movie. Like his brashness, his humor, like just every time he was on screen, fucking Jason Momoa stole the fucking show. And I need more Lobo. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more Lobo in the DCU, but it's just crazy that this antagonisty type character or whatever is able to steal like so much screen time. And like, how is it that like the screenwriter wrote Lobo like his parts well, but then completely like butchered like all the other characters? Like, how is Lobo like you're the best character in this movie? Like, I need to think about that a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stick with that. I think Lobo might be the best character in this movie, even though like his scenes are really short lived. But it's like when you get Lobo, like you get what you get, and it's like, yeah, he kills it every single fucking time. I cannot say the same thing for Ruthie. I cannot say the same thing for Krem. I cannot say the same thing for Supergirl. Like, I don't know, like this movie is just it's not good, and Dylan at the beginning of the episode called it aggressively mediocre. And yeah, that's how it feels like, except when we get to Lobo. That felt aggressively awesome. It might be just because like his mannerisms, like Dylan was saying, like somewhere in the middle, where like like Hollywood is fucking up because they're not landing like, or they're not making like movies where like women are actually women, and it's like, how the fuck do you fuck that up when you have like Lobo, like the representation of toxic masculinity all in one character, and you're able to do that right, but you can't add some more femininity to your women characters. Like I get like the whole concept of like like, oh, you have like a badass like female like lead, so she ain't got time for romances or like hugging puppies and all this other cute shit or whatever. But it's like,
but the
kind of
do those two things aren't mutually exclusive.
Exactly, and it's like
that's the problem.
You kind of do have that because like she's got a fucking dog, so it's like let her like fucking Superman was more like happy and excited and playful with the dog than Kara was, which that should not be the case because she's supposed to be like this party girl or whatever. She should be a lot more like humorous and like like more like, oh, what's a good puppy, like that type of shit, but she's not. So like ultimately like yeah, like as Dylan has been saying, the screenwriters, like the people behind like the production of this movie, like let everybody down because like I've already said the choreography is bad, the fight scenes are just horrible, the way that like the punches are looking, or like when Supergirl is being like awesome or whatever with her powers, it doesn't look cinematic or doesn't give like that like like cool feeling. Like there's this one shot in Superman that came out last year where like, and I'm not even a camera dude, but I this is just something that I'm picking up on, where like it has Superman flying, and like like the camera like pans into him and like shows like the logo on his chest, like very slow motion before going away, and he just zips on out of here. It's like there was nothing like that in Supergirl. There was nothing cool or cinematic or whatever, like or her showing off her powers. There was none of that. There were some scenes that had potential to be like that, but they never went up there. Like and I would love for someone to prove me wrong, but I say this like not ironically or not like trying to be funny or like hey, find me a jokey one or whatever, but there are no good wallpaper screenshots in this movie, which is ridiculous because it's a superhero movie. That should be fucking easy to do. Like in even fucking Marvel and then the MCU, as bland as like we like to say it is, or like how unsaturated the colors are or whatever, at least they do superhero poses right. At least they can do like cool explosions in the background with your characters like posing and looking cool or whatever. Like there is none of that in Supergirl. There are attempts at it, but they're not there.
Right.
And I sound a little heated, but I'm not. But,
yeah.
But I'm just. It just bothers me that this movie had potential to be good, and it wasn't. Because it's not like they made up like a whole new story and like they're like, no, they're adapting a well-established story, a loved story by many comic book nerds, and you still manage to find a way to fuck it up. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, so I said several times throughout the movie that this is a hideous movie. The cinematography is disgusting. This is, in terms of just looking at the movie, it's so off-putting. I for the life of me don't know why it was shot like this, because all the characters are like weirdly blown out with backlighting, but then when there's close-ups or medium shots of their face, it's like they're so dim because they're not lit properly overhead or in front of them. So it's just like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. And Jesse kind of, already spoke on this, but I want to elaborate on it a little bit, which is that the action scenes are just terrible. They have no sauce. And when I say they have no sauce, I mean there's no weight or texture or impact to anything that's happening on screen. It's so weightless. It feels like at times like Kara is made out of helium. Like the action scenes are so floaty, it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it any better than that. And the flight scenes, again, just absolutely no sauce whatsoever. Whereas, in Superman, when that movie first came out, I was actually pretty critical of the way that James Gunn and his cinematographer shot that movie. I remember complaining about the lens.
Yeah.
Because there were some shots like the scene where Clark escapes the prison in the pocket universe where Lex puts all his hose, and like it's just so. I was like, that's such a weird choice, and I forgot what it was called, so I had to look it up. But they used the Leica Tri-Elmar M lens, which is just it's truly odd because it's technically a still photography lens, and it lets filmmakers switch between focal lengths of 16, 18, and 21 millimeters without changing the lens itself. So that's why, like, when they have shots like when Clark, gets ready to throw the punch at the glass of his cell, it looks like the lens is like doing this weird thing where the focal length is just changing mid-shot, because it is. But I remember when I first watched Superman, I was like, ugh, I hate that. That's gross.
Right.
And you see it again during the fight between Clark and what's Lex's goon where she like her hands change into all these different things?
Fuck. It wasn't Terminator. It was like not Prophet, Terminator. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
the cyber lady.
When Lex fights her and Ultraman in the baseball stadium, there's another shot where the lens does the same thing, where it's changing focal lengths in the middle of the scene. And I just remember the first time I watched it, I was like, gosh, I hate this. And having watched Supergirl now,
here comes the apologies,
and seeing how uninspired the direction and the cinematography is, just so ugly and disgusting, and how uninspiring the lensing is in Supergirl, all of a sudden I'm looking at Superman and I'm thinking, well, maybe it wasn't my favorite thing, but at least they made a choice. Like, at least James Gunn was trying to leave his fingerprint on the film. At least there was intentional direction in Superman.
Right.
And so, yeah, like, now I'm kind of being an apologist for Superman, because last year I'm over here complaining about the lenses and the cinematography and like the weird way that some of these close-up shots are done on Clark, but at least he wasn't blown out by this crazy backlight to where when we do pull the camera closer to him, you can't even see his face because it's obscured by all this terrible lighting and a lack of overhead and front lighting. Whereas Supergirl is just plagued with all of these problems, and it's just so strange. And the oh my god, the climax of Supergirl,
oh my
disgusting.
That's
why?
What made me hate the film?
Why is it so muddied? Like, why is the frame so just? It's just covered in like and it's clearly CGI, so I can't even call it like dust. It's particle effects. It's CGI, but the frame is just so disgustingly muddied. It looks terrible.
I agree. And then like the actual scene itself, like throughout the whole movie, I remember I was like turning over to talk to you. I was like, there's some good, there's some bad, but like so far throughout this film, like I think it's a net positive. Like I think you mentioned that, like the flashbacks are carrying this film or whatever, and there were some like net positives or some positives for you as well as some negatives. But then we got to like the climax and the ending, and that completely took me out of it. And if you made it this far, I'm assuming 1, you're not gonna watch this movie, or 2, you've already seen it and you don't care about spoilers. Or 3, you're a new fan who has no idea who we are, but have decided to spend the last hour listening to us, in which case I appreciate you. But the final scene of the movie is basically like kind of like the whole, one of like the main themes, I'm gonna say like the whole theme, but one of the main themes of this movie is about revenge. And how Ruthie wants to get revenge because, this man, Krem, killed her family, killed her mom, dad, and brother. So she wants revenge. Supergirl, at the end of the movie, she also wants revenge, but for different reasons. Like, that's the guy that shot her dog, and she's going on this whole... I forgot to mention this earlier, but the whole reason why Supergirl was helping Ruthie out was not because, the kindness out of her own heart. Because Krem shot her dog. So now Supergirl is doing like this whole revenge story basically in order to save her dog, which makes sense. John Wick did too, so I'm not going to get mad. But the difference is that at the end of the movie, Ruthie has like the chance to kill Krem, and Supergirl tells her not to. Tells her, hey, this will haunt you for the rest of your life. This is not who you are, even though I've only been with you for like 2 or 3 days, but this is not who you are. You are better than this. Do you want to be a killer? Like this whole like fucking monologue about like basically being better and doing all that, and that's not what we get. So essentially we have Supergirl telling Ruthie that she should not commit murder because it's gonna change her as a person. And you know what Ruthie does? She hears that. She spent like this whole time with Supergirl. She even criticized her to her face, like, I don't want to end up like nothing like you when I grow up or whatever. But after all that, after the whole movie, after that little speech, Ruthie's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that was very well said, very well articulated. I am no longer in my feelings about this murderer who killed my mom and dad and brother. I'm just gonna walk away now. And Supergirl's like, yeah, you go on, get out of here, get out of here, you little rascal, you. Ruthie walks away, and Supergirl kills Krem. And not even coolly, with her powers or whatever. She just fucking shivs him with the sword, like the very same sword that Ruthie was gonna kill him with. And it's like, okay, I get it that you're trying to show that Supergirl is not at all like Superman, and how she's fucked up. Her morals are not as good intentioned as Superman. I get all that, but that whole speech just ruined this entire movie for me, because it's one of those things where it's like, sure, it could be the quote unquote right message, but it's the wrong messenger. If Superman was the one giving this monologue and about not killing Krem for the sake of your revenge or whatever, or just not killing in general, I could buy that, because it'd be coming from Superman, the fucking guy who fucking saved the fucking squirrel. Which Dylan hated that scene, but he's now come around to apologizing for it. He now thinks that kindness is punk rock. So
I don't know if I would go as
that
far
scene
as
was punk
to say
rock.
the squirrel
Super
thing
punk
is
rock.
great.
Hey, that scene was very intentional and very necessary for the plot for the character of Superman. And now I'm using it as an example of why to highlight the differences between him and his cousin. But it's I get it that this movie was trying to show Supergirl was not exactly like Superman. It's trying to say that hey, not all Kryptonians, even though there's only 2 left, not all Kryptonians are the same way. Like they don't all like have like the same like good intentions. Not all of them were raised pure or whatever. Because like she had like that one line that you said that like Clark sees the good in everybody, I see the truth or whatever. Yeah. And it's so like I get that like throughout this whole movie you've been trying to portray like Supergirl as like this flawed character who like
she's edgy.
She's edgy. I mean she's also like obviously like younger. She's like 23 or like she's in her early 20s. So it's like okay, like you're trying to like set her up as like, you know, like you're trying to establish her character as she's gonna be like, you know, before like she goes to like this whole moral crisis and like becomes like the good person that she was always meant to be all along. This movie is starting us off with like, you know, her like kind of at rock bottom trying to like get herself out of it. I get all that. I still think like the final scene like was just, it completely ruined like the whole movie experience for me, because it's like, Kara, you're gonna leave. Like after this, after you like this whole rescue mission, after you go rescue your dog, you're gonna have like this realization that like, maybe I should stop partying it up here in Red Suns, and like go back to like my second home with my cousin Clark. Like, you know, like the only other place I've ever known. Maybe I should just go there. And it's like, if you do that, who's gonna take care of Ruthie? Like, you're not gonna be there as she grows up, like living her life on these other planets or whatever, or on the planet that she's on. Like, you're not gonna be following her. You're not gonna know like what she decides to do or like how she ends up growing up. She could very well much still end up like, you know, a fucking criminal like later on in her life, or she could turn into like a mercenary or like whatever. Like she could kill someone like 10 years from now, like after Supergirl gave her like the whole speech like, no, don't do it, revenge bad. Like,
so you just described The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it, but it's like, yeah, so I don't know, just right message, wrong messengers, and like that completely took me out of like the whole movie, because it was like Ruthie's whole plot was revenge, and nowhere in the whole movie up until the end, but like nowhere in the movie was Supergirl like genuinely trying to stop her like from killing, like from taking another life. Sure, she tried to stop her from like, hey, like you're a kid, you're gonna like mess things up like with this mission, or me trying to save my dog. Just stay home or whatever. Kid doesn't listen. Kid like still sneaks on like the ship to like go with Supergirl and all this. But it's like from like the very beginning and all the way to like the end, like there was never any inclination from Supergirl that like, hey, I don't think that you should kill this guy that you're trying to chase or whatever. None of that. But somehow, at the last possible moment, that's where she decides to, you know, put on her like superhero like hat and smile and be like, hey, no, we don't kill around here. We're good people. Ching. Like, no, that just completely ruined it for me. Like I said, there was a lot of negatives, but there were also a lot of positives. And up until this point, I thought there were more positives. But that scene just made it a complete negative, and after that, like I didn't care about the movie. So yeah, aggressively mediocre, to say the least.
Yeah, see, and I think that's just another example of how the movie has like these conflicting ideas or themes, and it doesn't really know how to explore them or discuss them in a meaningful way. Because honestly, revenge stories are really only work in the right hands. Because I think by and large revenge stories are pretty fucking terrible, because it's the same thing with The Last of Us Part 2. It's just endless preaching and like saber rattling about how, you know, revenge is bad, but you spend 30 hours of the game just slaughtering, you know, nameless fucking NPCs, and the game rewards you for it. Like, and then at the last second, it wants to turn around and say, no, Revenge is bad. Don't you feel bad about all those people you killed? How could you do that? Those people have families. Don't you feel bad? No, I fucking don't. There's no other way to play the game other than to kill the exact people that you want me to kill in the exact order that you want me to kill them, to get to the cutscene and advance the story, only for you to fucking wag the finger at me about how terrible revenge is. Get the fuck out of here. And it's the same thing with Supergirl. Like, she spends the whole movie not giving a single fuck about life like Superman. And again, I'm not saying that she needs to be Clark. Like Jesse said, this is clearly a way to delineate the two. But what I'm saying is that the way that they fight, Clark shows a clear reverence for human life in Superman. Mm-hmm. And Kara, she's just racking up the body count the entire movie. And so at the end of the movie, when she's telling Ruthie, no, don't do this, it'll haunt you forever. It's like, really? So did like the 200 people you killed in this movie, is that going to haunt you forever?
Probably not.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, don't give me this preachy bullshit about revenge. And I think too, what people fundamentally misunderstand about revenge stories, and this is why John Wick works. Okay, this is why it's so satisfying to see him shoot 72 people in the head because they killed his dog. It's because John Wick understands that revenge isn't about making you feel better. That's something people always get wrong. Like, oh, no, it's not going to make you... Shut up. Revenge is about taking the power back. Okay, because what happens is that in the case of John Wick, he saw his dog get murdered, which was the final gift that his deceased wife gave him. And in that moment, he felt powerless. He felt helpless. Was he devastated by the loss? Of course. Was he hurt by it? Yeah, obviously. But it's about, in the moment when it happens, when the loss of life initially happens, it's that you feel powerless to have done anything. So the point of revenge is to not magically bring you this emotional catharsis to erase the grief. The point of revenge is to take the power back and say, no, I have agency and you're going to pay for what you've done. Like that is the point of revenge. And like so many revenge stories do not understand this because they think it's about trying to make yourself feel better. It's not. Kill Bill, the first 10 minutes of Kill Bill handles revenge so much better than anything like The Last of Us Part 2 or Supergirl does.
Yeah. And like what you said about revenge being about taking the power back. Ruthie never takes the power back.
Exactly.
Like she has the opportunity to when she's standing over Krem with the sword right there. And that's when Supergirl's like, no, stop. It'll haunt you. Which, again, maybe someone can say, oh, Supergirl is speaking because she's killed people. So, she knows, maybe she is being haunted by, all the life that she took. So she knows how it feels like.
I doubt
and
it.
she doesn't want, I agree. But maybe I'm thinking but maybe this is how she was meant to be written, she's haunted by her past. So she's just trying to prevent Ruthie from following in her footsteps or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that could very much be a thing, but it was not communicated in this film, and I think that's what makes it like a big detriment is that if you had showcased Supergirl fighting in the way that Clark fights and fighting to to take the danger away, but not fighting to kill or harm, okay, then I could see some credence behind the final speech or whatever. But she's not like that. If anything, this movie kind of shows her as I don't want to say neurotic, but it showcases that she's not someone who thinks
too much ahead.
She's very much
impulsive.
Impulsive, thank you. Which is fine. I get it. She's 23. What young 20-year-olds aren't impulsive? I get it. So it's shut up, man.
I was not impulsive.
You're lucky we're talking about Supergirl not running right now, Mr. Impulsive. But we have like Supergirl, like, okay, she's impulsive. She doesn't really think much, like put much thought. She reacts emotionally. Like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like you could have showcased like a few scenes showing that, you know, like, because there were a few scenes where we can clearly see that she has compassion, like she does care about other people, kind of. Like, it might not be super nice or whatever, but in this movie she is shown to have like the capacity to care about other people besides herself, but it's not highlighted enough to be like, you know, a whole focal point of her being like, no, don't kill, revenge bad. Like her, like nothing about her character kind of like adds weight to those words. And it's like, if you had written her character to be more competent, or if you had written her character to have like more like scenes where she shows compassion, or then, like, you know, like that scene, like that final scene would have like hit harder. Instead, she just comes off as a hypocrite, like telling, hey Ruthie, don't kill people, revenge bad. Ruthie goes away, hey, fuck you, you killed my dog, or you shot my dog, bah, shank. Like, it's just like not like I didn't feel like a catharsis, like, finally, like, you know, like,
Oh,
she did it.
Like,
like,
I was like, wow,
like,
that's talking about going out with the fizzle.
yeah, like, because like she didn't need to kill Krem. All she really needed was like the antidote around his neck. And like, so if she wanted him dead anyway, she could have let Ruthie do it. Because like the way her character is currently written, or at least portrayed, like her character is not written as somebody who actually gives a fuck. Like at the end of the movie, she just fucks off and goes back to Earth.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Does she take Ruthie with her? I think she did.
She does, yeah.
Yeah. So we might see Ruthie in another movie, but I don't think this Ruthie character is going to be like someone that sticks around long term in the DCU. So it's kind of like, why did you, in a sense, waste like her character by not having her, like, you know, actually follow through with her revenge and getting some level of agency back in her life? Because at the end of the day, this isn't like, even if Ruthie did kill Krem, like, it wasn't all her revenge. She needed help, a lot of help.
Yeah.
She needed a lot of help in order to like accomplish this mission. But she did contribute. Like, when they end up on like that yellow and green sun, like, she is the reason why, like, legitimately, Ruthie is the reason why Supergirl is not dead canonically in the DCU. Like, if she wasn't there on that spaceship when like Kara was like abandoned on that planet, she'd be dead. So if it wasn't for Ruthie, Supergirl would not be here. So it's like Ruthie is capable and was capable of doing some things alone. But essentially, her revenge would not have happened without Supergirl's help. And even then, after she got Supergirl's unwilling help, I might add, Supergirl prevents her from actually getting her revenge. So in a sense, Ruthie had no agency in this movie whatsoever. Like,
no.
Even in the beginning of the movie, when she walks into like the bar, like as a little girl, like trying to like recruit people like to go help her on her revenge quest, the only reason why Supergirl like initially helps her out is because like Ruthie goes around flashing like her dad's sword, and apparently her dad was like a big shot who was like really good at making swords. He was a really big shot swordsmith. That's kind of like the reason why he and his family was killed, except for Ruthie. And so you have like this little girl swinging around like this like really like super like powerful sword or whatever, and like, you know, some grunt, like some, man, I can't even say this anymore because we might get demonetized or whatever, but I'm gonna say it anyway because fuck it, yellow. This fucking goon takes her fucking sword.
Why can't you say that?
Huh? Bro, you know what goonie means on the internet?
No, goon means like thug.
Oh, my sweet summer child. Chat. Like
it's like a pack of goons.
Man.
Like Batman beat up Joker's goons.
God, where have you been the last 5 years? Yes, that is what goon like.
That's what I've
always known it as. But I'm so glad like we're at the tail end of this episode. So, but Apparently now in modern days, I'm not gonna say specifically Gen Z, but they might have been started by Gen Z. It's one of their new slang words. Gooning is like when you self pleasure, but you don't finish. So you just keep yourself on edge for as long as possible.
I thought that was edging.
No, but they call it gooning now. And it's a really, really, really popular term, to the point that like now I think it's replaced like what we originally used the word for, like these villains, henchmen or whatever. Yeah, if you use that word on the internet, people are not going to interpret it that way. But yeah, fun fact for you, chat. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys knew. If anything, I'm the one telling.
I'm gonna dismiss myself.
But anyways, like this goon, using the word correctly, he fucking like takes the sword and he's like, fuck it, fuck you, fuck this mission, whatever. I'm just gonna take this and leave. And Supergirl feels bad, like, hey, don't take candy. I mean, swords from a little girl or whatever. Hey, stop that. Guy doesn't listen. The goon doesn't listen. Supergirl's like, all right, fine. I guess I gotta go outside and talk to him or whatever. And, proceeds to like beat him the fuck up. And Ruthie, seeing her fight, is like, oh, wow, this girl is really strong. I want her to help me on my mission. And that's kind of how like the movie starts and all that. So it's like throughout this whole movie, like Ruthie like doesn't really have much agency, because like while she does do some stuff on her own, ultimately like she relies on the help of others. And now I'm gonna walk back that statement, because I just remembered right now, like she did have a scene. It was when she was captured and she was like in that holding cell with Lobo. She does get herself out. And oh my God, and she does free Lobo. Oh my God, hold on. Ruthie might have done a lot actually in this movie. She saves Supergirl's life, and then she's able to like break out of the holding cell and break out Lobo too. Which, once she breaks out Lobo, he goes straight to the chopper and his guns. And it's like, oh yeah, no, we would not have a free Lobo if it wasn't for Ruthie. So I walk back what I just said right now. Ruthie has some agency, but it's ultimately
not enough.
Not enough, and I get it. She's a child, but come on, it's a fucking movie. Let me like lose myself for a bit.
It's a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah,
it's
like,
a comic book movie.
Exactly. So just like let her have her revenge. Come on, like in Superman, you had Lex Luthor shoot an innocent man.
That was dark.
Exactly. But in this movie, you can't have Ruthie kill the man that killed her family.
That ain't happening in the MCU.
Yeah, right. Like
over there.
Like Supergirl was basically an MCU movie in terms of like the quality, the way it looked,
honestly,
and like the way,
yeah.
Like honestly, yeah, like that might be that. I might hit the nail on the head. Supergirl is more of an MCU movie than it is a DCU
Supergirl
movie.
is Shang-Chi.
Shit, but I like Shang-Chi though.
Nah, that movie's so fucking forgettable.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah. I'd give that crown to Fantastic Four Classic Missteps.
I mean, that movie's forgettable as well, but Shang-Chi just was...
I like Shang-Chi.
Was a big nothing.
You didn't like when they were dancing and fighting? I thought it was like, some Kung Fu Taekwondo type vibes. I liked it.
No.
All right. Agree or disagree. But Supergirl is basically an MCU movie. It just clicked for me now, like almost like an hour and a half in, but Supergirl is an MCU movie, and that might be why I have all these problems with it, because like, yeah, even like, what are my problems with the MCU? Oh, it looks bad, direction's bad, it looks very bland. The screenplay or the screenwriting is not so good. The character work, like the character assassination going on in the MCU with like my boy Hulk, Thor, like shit. Supergirl is basically a DCU film or an MCU film, sorry. And James Gunn didn't direct it. That's crazy, because I feel like you were on Mike saying that like, yeah, James Gunn needs to take a step back. But I do feel like this movie would have been better if he directed it. Maybe the dialogue and everything else would have been the same, but it would have looked better at least. And maybe he would have had like changed some things. Like maybe he would have been like, yeah, and then Ruthie kills the guy.
Maybe.
And like that,
maybe,
because like honestly, that is like the scene where like if that was changed, I would like this movie.
I'm a little torn on that opinion, whether or not James Gunn would have improved Supergirl, because
I think so.
Because on one hand,
His direction, his camera work, better.
James Gunn didn't direct this movie, but at the same time, when I think about it, I'm like, it has this grimy little fingerprints all over it. Mm-hmm. Like that god awful needle drop in the final act of the movie.
Yeah.
The complete butchering of a classic pop punk emo song, The Middle, by Jimmy Eat World. What the fuck was that cover? That was completely inexcusable. There is no reason to have done that. I don't even think the original song would have been good there, but it would have been better. The cover was just awful though.
Right.
I mean, like,
which one was that one? Was that during like the Supergirl fight? Like when she was like spinning around and all that shit?
Yeah, it just takes some time, a little bit in the middle of the ride. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they could have done better. Honestly, they could have done better with like their song choices.
And
too.
You know what's weird is that everyone is like passing the blame for that specific needle drop. Mm-hmm. Because I think they interviewed the screenwriter about it, and she said, oh, that was ultimately up to like the director and the producers. And then they interviewed Craig Gillespie, the director, and he's like, nah, James Gunn made that call. So they're like trying to weirdly assign blame. So they know it's bad.
Yeah. Okay. So they know it's bad, and I feel like they know that they made like not. I don't want to say no. I have been saying like they made a bad movie, and it's like I don't know how they fucked this up like this bad, because it kind of seems like it shouldn't be hard. Mm-hmm. Like hire a screenwriter who's like done other work or like has at least worked on like a fucking superhero movie or something adjacent, maybe at least an action flick or whatever, not an 11-minute movie. Hire like a director who like knows how to direct action scenes. Mm-hmm. Like he maybe doesn't have experience with superhero movies, but can you at least like show how hard a punch can feel? Mm-hmm. Hire someone like like that to like make the score sound like more impactful, because like I feel like ever since, and I'm not trying to blame James Gunn for this, but I'm about to. I feel like ever since Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 through 3, all his movies, like in regards to superhero movies, have tried to have like this, like it's like these catchy tunes,
this quirky soundtrack.
Yeah, thank you. That's a better way of putting it. This quirky soundtrack, like for each individual movie, and I feel like, I think it worked in Superman. But in
Superman, I think it worked because I think the punk rocker needle drop by, I forget who sings the song, but the punk rocker needle drop at the end of the movie, I think really fit well.
Yeah.
And then the one that actually stuck out the most to me was 5 years' time during the Mr. Terrific fight on the beach when he takes Lois to the stupid pocket dimension,
which is a good
scene. That was a great needle drop. I actually think that's the best one in the movie.
Yeah, it probably is. And like it was great music, great choreography, and like great camera work. Like everything that was present in that Mr. Terrific scene with Lois was completely missing in all of Supergirl. Like there was like no there was no good choreography. There was like no good, I think, like soundtrack or sound, like what you call it, a needle drop moment. And there was like no like I think good like camera work. Like and like I'm not even the camera dude or whatever. Like that's your shtick. But when I was watching this movie, I was like, I feel like Superman looked better than this. Like the fights looked better. The way like when they used their powers, it looked better. Like the only cool thing here was like when Supergirl would use her fucking lasers, and like you would see like the big ass hole that she left from like her lasers or whatever. Like I thought that was pretty cool. Like, okay, yeah, show that she can be like fucking terrifying, because I feel like for her character, she shows less restraint than Superman.
Yeah.
So her fighting style is a lot more like, like rather than like Superman, whose whole shtick is preserving life, her whole shtick is like, yeah, I'm just trying to like end the fight as soon as possible. Whether that ends up killing or maiming or breaking someone forever, I don't care. Which is fine. But then you can't have her character be a hypocrite and be like, no, don't kill Ruthie, stop. Like, it doesn't work for me. And like we'll see like how the character of Supergirl evolves as like the DCU goes on. But right now she is on shaky legs, and I'm not even blaming the actress. I'm blaming like whoever the fuck wrote her character to be this way. Because like, yeah, your first movie, it was not so good. And whether or not you get like a second solo movie, who's to say? But you are for sure going to be showing up in other DCU related media.
She's going to be in the Superman sequel.
So like I'm hoping that like by that point, whoever writing like the actual dialogue and like the characters and all that is able to give her like some more nuance.
I'm pretty sure James Gunn is doing it.
Okay. Well, somehow I think I trust James Gunn more than like whoever the fuck did this one. And like whether or not it'll be good, I'm not sure right now. But at least I think it'll be entertaining. It'll be a little bit more coherent and it'll look good. Even if they use like those weird fisheye lenses you're not a fan of.
Yeah. Like I said, it's tough for me to say how much James Gunn would have actually improved this movie. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what else there is for me to say about the cinematography other than it's bad. It's ugly. The movie just looks so murky and muddied, especially in the third act. It's ugly. It's murky. It's very muddied, especially in the third act. And it's just really unmotivated cinematography, especially during the fight scenes. Obviously, no one, I think, quite captures... No one has ever visualized super strength as well as Zack Snyder in Man of Steel. Like, for as much as I used to shit on that guy, for as much as I still talk shit about Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman,
right? The
fact is, the way Zack Snyder shot the fight between Superman and the Kryptonians in Smallville in Man of Steel was like, I was like, wow, like I've never ever seen anybody be able to like capture super strength like that. Because I think the thing is in Man of Steel, like when Superman hits those people, you really like get the impression that if this dude were to hit me at full force, like I am toast. Like not only are you like hurt, like your body might just explode from the sheer strength
like
this guy has. And like obviously like no one's ever gonna shoot it as well as Zach did, but I think Supergirl showed like just I think it showed us that we kind of or I specifically took James Gunn for granted in that regard, because the cinematography during the fight scenes is just, it's bad. The choreography is bad. I said the flight scenes completely sauceless. Like there's no gravity to not just the fight scenes, but anytime she has to fly, even if you remove the action, like if there's a scene in the middle of the film where they first kind of meet Lobo, where she's like flying throughout this city, and it just, again, it feels like she's made out of helium. Like, I'm like, what, why? And the cinematography is just, the color grading is so bad and flat. Everything looks brown and gray. It's like, where is she?
Yeah.
Like, I can't, like, it's hard to follow her. It's just, it's such a strange movie in terms of how it's shot. And look, I really do feel bad for Millie Alcock. I know there was a bunch of controversy, surrounding her comments and some of the press tour, and like, yeah, whatever, some of the comments were cringe, but it's not like she was out there like Rachel Zegler just, self-destructing. So I think the biggest compliment I can give Supergirl is that Millie Alcock. I think she gave a good performance because I think she was doing everything she could to try and elevate the material, but she was deeply, deeply let down by everyone around her behind the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I have nothing negative to say about like her performance. I thought was fine. I know there was like a lot of weird internet backlash about like the casting, like, oh, it should have been like, a more traditional looking, like a more traditional woman, like not traditional in the sense of like, like household duties and all that. I mean, like more like the traditional Hollywood look.
Kara is like in the comics, she's like presented as like this traditional, like almost like classic old Hollywood beauty-esque, like she has like the high cheekbones, like the nice silky blonde hair.
Like I know people were like upset because like she doesn't look like your typical
they wanted
Hollywood,
like Donna Reed,
or like someone like Scarlett Johansson, even though she might be too old for this role, I know I one that I saw was like really popular that made my eyes roll was what's her name, Sydney Sweeney, like a Supergirl, and I'm like, really why
I wouldn't hate that.
I mean, but it's like why, like you just want like a character that like looks pretty to look at or whatever, or do you want like an actual character here? And we kind of got that, but like I'm not upset at all by like Millie's performance. Like I thought she did well with what she was given.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a strong performance in the sense that she wasn't given a whole lot to work with, and I think she tried to make her as complex as she could, but there's only so much she could have done with that screenplay.
Yep. No, I agree. So like, this is like now like what, like the second DCU film?
It's the second film, but we've had
like other stuff like TV projects, shows like Peace Walker, Creature Commandos, and all that. But this is technically like the second DCU film, and technically you did say like, hey, Incredible Hulk came out as the second movie. And, look where the MCU turned out. So maybe like there's still time to turn things around in the DCU. But I feel like we're coming off on like pretty shaky grounds right now, and you just started running. Like James Gunn, you just came out like swinging, and you're already like starting to miss. Like that, you need to address this ASAP. Like I don't know who the fuck is like who you have on your squad or whatever, but like you guys need to go back to the writing room and like figure out what the fuck is going on, because Supergirl was not it. And if it was like and like it's not even like the fault of like because it's like a female-led superhero movie or whatever, it's not even that, it's just a bad movie. Like aggressively mediocre. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm not in the camp of, oh, we need to fire James Gunn and blow up the DCU or it's already dead. I think that's a massive overreaction. When we did come out of the theater, I did tell Jesse, I think this, or maybe I just texted it to you, I can't remember. I said, I think this marks the end of like the comic book movie driving the cultural conversation as it relates to cinema, because it really feels like these movies are kind of losing their cultural footprint. And I know Spider-Man comes out in July and Doomsday comes out in December, and I'm sure those movies will make money, but I know they're both going to suck because it's Marvel, and I don't trust Marvel to make anything good after Avengers Infinity War. So I just really, it felt like, honestly, like the quiet certain end of these movies, like feeling like they're important, because I think for the past 10 years or so, like if you were like even nominally involved in the movie sphere, like you needed to have some knowledge of superhero movies because they were just so prevalent.
Yeah.
You kind of had to keep up with the MCU a little bit. Like, even if you were like a snobbiest of the snobby cinephiles, like, you have to at least be nominally familiar with the MCU because it was just so prominent in the culture.
Yeah.
And it just really feels like these movies are really running out of steam, like running on fumes. But now that I've had time to sit with it, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because like Jesse said, I made the comparison to the Incredible Hulk at the very beginning, and I think it's an apt comparison, even all the way down to the fact that neither of these movies had a post-credits scene.
Nope.
Whereas Iron Man and Superman both did.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's, I think James Gunn needs to do some serious reflecting. And what I would really say is the thing that he really needs to think about is he needs to stop making movies that he wants. Like, James Gunn is a guy with a very particular style. He likes making movies about these like freaks and weirdos. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but he's got to stop that, because I think what James Gunn is failing to realize here is that in order for the DCU to work, you need to make the movies that people actually want to see, which means that we need to build the foundation of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash. Those are the movies that people are actually going to show up for. You need to anchor this universe in your main set of characters before you try to like push the envelope with things like Supergirl or The Authority, which he seems like really into but can't get off the ground for some reason. Mm-hmm. So, and again, like, there's nothing wrong with inherent in the concept of a female-led superhero movie. It's that you're doing Supergirl right after Superman, and the two characters are so similar in terms of their powers. And then obviously you have all these other things that kind of went wrong with it behind the camera that, kind of led to the performance that it has. And I think what James Gunn really needs to like take a step back and reflect on is he needs to realize that he has to start putting the movies into production that people actually want to see. Because, for as much as I dog on the MCU now, and it is absolute garbage, there is something to be said about the way Kevin Feige handled the fact that he stuck to the plan of, we're going to establish Tony, we're going to establish Bruce Banner, Thor, Steve Rogers, we'll bring in Black Widow and Iron Man 2, and then we're going to lead into the Avengers. Like, I do think there's something to be said about him sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
And I will say too, like, just as a reminder, Iron Man 2 critically reviled by both audiences and critics. Mm-hmm. So like, early MCU was not great because like, really it was only the first Iron Man that was well received. Like I think Thor was pretty tepid.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk, not good. From what I remember, the critical consensus being Iron Man 2, again, it was dragged through the mud. The first Captain America, same thing. It was like pretty average response. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great. And so I think there's something to be said about Kevin Feige like sticking to his guns. So I think James Gunn really needs to do some reflecting on what movies he greenlights, but also, if he actually has a plan of how to get to the Justice League, because let's be honest, that's what people want to see. Like, that's why people are like tuning into the DCU to begin with. Like, when do we get to the Justice League and what is that going to look like? Mm-hmm. If he has a plan to get there, stick to the plan. You can't be discouraged by the underperformance of one movie.
Yeah. Thus, that is sound advice. James Gunn, I hope you heard this message brought to you by the Nobodies of Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously James Gunn listens to Below the Line podcast.
Like, maybe he does. Like, maybe someone's going to clip this and show it to him and be like, hey, hold on, James Gunn. Here's the solution you need in order to, save the DCU. Because right now, yeah, it's this. You came out hot with Superman, and then you're kind of like getting lukewarm with like Peacemaker,
What a joke.
season 2, and Supergirl.
Yeah,
You might be heating up again with Lanterns, but it's like the inconsistency,
I
quality.
Truly believe, like I have this intuitive sense, Lanterns is gonna be the one because people don't expect it to be.
You said the same thing about Superman.
I did, but now look how I feel about it.
Oh shit! You right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, Lanterns looks like it's gonna be good. I hope it is good. It looks like it's gonna be good, but
I would venture to say Lanterns will be the best comic book project of 2026 because I have no faith in any. As long as Tom Holland is Spider-Man, garbage. And as long as the MCU is what it is, Doomsday, that leaked footage was horrendous. Yeah.
okay, fair enough. So, like, you said earlier that like this movie kind of marks like the start of the end of like superhero movies, like pushing like the cultural zeitgeist, at least when it comes to like talking about movies or the movie theaters or whatever. Do you think there's gonna be like something else, like a different trend that ends up taking
I do.
like the spot of superhero movies? What is it?
We're already seeing it happen. It's video game movies.
Oh shit!
Super Mario
Oh, shit.
Galaxy.
Oh,
and
shit.
the reason I say that is because Super Mario Galaxy, the reviews weren't nearly as favorable as the first Mario movie, but it made a ton of money.
So did Sonic.
And
Fuck,
then
you're right.
Minecraft
You're right.
made a ton of money.
You're right.
And I think too, finally, like if they can figure out how to make movies for these more narrative driven games that are basically movies anyway, it's going to be video game movies. Like it's already right there. Like it's on the horizon. I think Paramount has a Call of Duty movie in production. And look, that's basically a war movie. If they nail it, that's $1 billion film right there.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they follow the Modern Warfare plot line, like people are going to go nuts for that. Hell, I would go nuts for it because I have a lot of nostalgia for the original Modern Warfare trilogy. So I think it's right there. Like if comic book movies truly do lose their momentum in terms of like the big shared cinematic universe, driving all the conversation around cinema and pop culture, it's right there. Like video game movies are so ready to pounce and take that spot.
That's crazy because I didn't even consider that, but like you are 100% right, which is so funny because like superhero or like comic books were considered like to be like the nerdy thing that people did back in the day, and now it's like this fucking huge thing where like hey guys, comic books are cool.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing the same thing with video games. Like video games
used
like,
to be a niche hobby.
Yeah, niche hobby. Hey, you're a fucking nerd. You play video games, and now like we're like in this modern era. Like, hey, you're a gamer. You game, cool.
And then remember how too they used to say like, oh, video games are bad for you. Like it'll rot your brain. Not actually, but like it's a mind numbing activity that doesn't benefit you. And now it's like there are so many people that do it. Look at all the streamers. Like
people who make a career out of it.
Even
basically.
women are like really into gaming now.
I think the women have always been into gaming, but we're just now seeing them at at the forefront because men are kind of mean online. So like they say mean things to women. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean they both are kind of mean.
Yeah. But
except when they see my Kingdom Hearts 2 shit because they're like, damn, this guy's good at this game.
All right, fair enough. Little plug right there. But yeah, anyway, Supergirl. I think I've said all I have to say about this particular movie. Like I know we didn't really go to like the plot or anything, but I honestly I think you can watch the movie for yourself and form your own opinion and then come back to this episode. Or you can just listen to this episode and go, be brainwashed by our thoughts and go watch the movie and then end up loving it and thinking that we're completely full of shit. Up to you, chat. But in terms of just like talking about the movie, I think I've said everything I need to say about it. It's just a bad movie, and it saddens me because I was actually like really excited for this movie, and Now I gotta wait till like July to see Spider-Man, and try to see like another fun movie because Toy Story wasn't it. I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as I thought it was gonna be. Disclosure Day is the one so far.
Yeah.
But
it's the only piece of cinema. I mean, Project Hail Mary is good.
Oh yeah, that one too. Okay, yeah, Project Hail Mary, second place so far. But in terms of just like, I'm a real chat as like the guy who's just like the casual everyday man here on this podcast. I am looking forward to Spider-Man 4. Like
I'm not. I am gonna rip that thing to shreds.
So you're looking forward to it?
I am, because I know that I know it's not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard too many things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just expecting to have a good time. That is all I. That is
You'll
all,
probably get that.
Yeah, like that is all I can expect or want out of Marvel films these days. Is just like, I just want to have a good time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be good. Just entertain me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping with Spider-Man, but we'll see. But with Supergirl, this wasn't it. Like I don't even want to say to stream it, but I feel like you kind of have to if you want to keep up with the DCU. Like moving forward, I feel like if you want to keep up with the DCU, like right now while it's still like young and fresh, and how much shit is there? It's just Superman, Peacemaker season 1 and 2,
Creature
Commando season 1 and 2, and Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
That's only 6 media. We're gonna have Lanterns, make that 7, but like there's only like 6 pieces of media right now to follow for like the DCU. And even then, two of them are like second seasons, so it's really only 4 pieces of media you need to follow. It's not like the MCU where it's like 30 plus movies and like 30 plus shows to like try to find out where everything's going.
Yeah.
Like no, so for like the DCU, I cannot recommend this movie to buy when it comes out, but I'm hesitant to say that you should stream it because maybe I'll calm down on this movie as time goes on. Like maybe by the time this movie comes to streaming, I'll be like, all right, I don't really care about like the whole revenge thing, whatever. I just want to see blue and red on the screen, I suppose. I don't know. like I can't even say like, I just want to watch like a pretty looking film. It's not that either.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, it's kind of hard for me personally to find like a reason like to recommend Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Like for any reason, I am like grasping at straws here. Like the only straw I'm clutching onto is that, hey, if you want to watch DCU content or keep up with it, you got to watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a recommend. This is not a buy.
Mm-hmm.
This is stream it in the background if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The future of DCU looks kind of bleak. Future of comic book movies looks kind of bleak. But those video games though, I'm not much of a gamer, but like now that you put that now that you put it out there, now I'm gonna be looking for it. Like, oh shit! Like, look, it's another not superhero. Sorry, it's another video game movie. Oh shit, there's another one. Like I remember when Sonic came out, like the original trailer for Sonic.
Oh, it was a disaster.
And yeah, how grotesque he looked. I like the fact that the studio went and actually changed him and all that. But the fact that's how Sonic originally came out, and the backlash that went with it, and the changes that were made to the movie, and the movie came out and it made enough money that they were like, fuck it, let's do more sequels.
Yeah.
I think they're gearing up to do like a Sonic 4. I'm like, why? These movies are so dumb, but people love them. So video game movies as a trend, I see it now. Man. It's only because you have like an eye for movies and shit that you notice that. But good eye. No, that is definitely good.
Fear not, everybody. Cinema will return in 2027 with the release of Transformers 6 starring Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox.
has it already been confirmed or todavía no?
Shia let it slip that he's having conversations about it.
Okay.
So
Conversations.
It's not confirmed, but the fact that they're even, that's where it seems like he wants to go. It's a good sign.
Yeah. All right. Good for him. It's been a while since I've seen Shia and stuff. I know you've mentioned that he's been doing like indie work or whatever. I just haven't gone around like watching those films. But yeah. Anyways, chat, I think that about wraps it up for like my thoughts about Supergirl. Did you have any like last minute thoughts that you forgot about that you want to let the audience know?
No, I think that about covers it for me. The only final thing I want to say is, like I said, I think this is aggressively mediocre, and I think it really speaks to a larger problem with the way that the industry handles female-led superhero movies, as opposed to female-led superhero movies just being unpopular. Like, Hollywood shows this strange unwillingness to change, and they need to take more lessons from why Wonder Woman succeeded, where every other single one of these has failed. And, you know I kind of gave Craig Gillespie shit saying like, oh, why is this like 40, 50-year-old Australian guy directing a female-led superhero movie? And that's not me like trying to do the progressive saber rattling. I'm not into that. But it just really feels like this movie was let down by, the screenwriter, the filmmakers and the producers, because like there's so many things. The more I read about this movie, the more that I'm like, I don't understand any of this. Like, the screenwriter also did an interview where she said that she didn't want to include the Kryptonian super horse from the comic book Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, because we already have Krypto the Superdog. And it's like, no, you should include the super horse because you already have the Superdog. Like, it's already silly. Just make it sillier.
Yeah.
Like, Supergirl is a Silver Age comic book character. That was like peak silliness, like when comic books were like the most ridiculous. Like, just embrace it.
Like Superman.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess that's really the last thing I would say is just the more and more like I read about like the making of this film and like the development of it, the more I'm like, there were so many things around it that it just seems like more of a systemic failure than like this non-controversy over Millie Alcock. Again, she's probably the strongest aspect of the movie because it's definitely not the cinematography, it's not the VFX work, it's not the action. So, she tried, she did her best, and I look forward to seeing what she does with Clark in Man of Tomorrow. So
is that is that what the sequel's called? Man of Tomorrow?
Yeah. But the thing is, that's actually a nickname for Superman. They call him the Man of Tomorrow. Big Blue, Man of Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Interesting to see her interact with Lex, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Okay. Yeah, that will be interesting. Because, like, whereas, like, the Superman character will be like, hey, let's leave him alone or whatever. She would not be afraid of roughing him up. So that's fair.
Yeah.
But okay. We're just going to just like stay tuned and see like what's next for the Supergirl character. But right now with this movie, complete miss.
Complete miss.
But hopefully it was enough of a miss that's going to light a fire under like whoever's ass is like in charge of like doing like all this, like James Gunn obviously, but like to make sure like he's getting like the right people involved in these movies.
I agree.
Like if he's not gonna be the one directing and like hand picking it himself, he should at least like like vet, like make sure like, hey, like
make sure he's got the right people.
Exactly.
Hot take, you got to give Zack Snyder a movie.
Yeah, give him one.
Yeah,
give him just one.
Yeah,
just give him one.
Yeah. The last thought I'm going to throw in here is I'm going to go ahead and say stream it, but don't pay for it as like a VOD. If you have an existing HBO Max subscription, just wait for it to hit HBO Max, give it a stream. And the only reason I'm saying this is because we're playing the long game. Just like, the MCU, like I just said, a few minutes ago, very rocky start, but Kevin Feige stuck to his guns. So if Justice League is where we're heading, just give it a stream because we're playing the long game. So that's all I'm going to say.
That's probably one of the most positive and optimistic compliments you've ever given any movie, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you. Wow. Mm-hmm. With that being said, chat, thank you for listening. Show credits now. If you're still here, you get to listen to us ramble for like an additional 5 more minutes. Yay for you. All right, chat, if you're still here, you've made it to the end of the show. Thank you for listening. The next part is just going to be us shilling. So
yeah,
time to shill. So if you like us, if you like this video, or if you like this podcast, feel free to give it a like. If you're on YouTube, like it there, thumbs up. If you're on Spotify, follow the podcast. Also on YouTube, follow the YouTube channel, Nightfall Media. Where you get more than just podcasts on that channel.
Yeah.
I'm only involved on the podcast side, but the Nightfall Media side, that's all this guy.
I've been working on the next video, but I got sidetracked because the Top Gun video got a copyright claim.
Oh no.
I filed the appeal. They lifted it. It was up for like 3 days. They copyright claimed it again. So I had to escalate the appeal. And now I'm waiting to see what happens with that. But the video is basically dead in the algorithm. So it's so frustrating because like, that's why I missed June for like the monthly upload, because I was like trying to deal with that because they lifted it. And it was up for like 3-4 days, and then like, no, let's claim it again.
Yeah.
It's just
that sucks. The life of a small content creator, because like we had like lawyers and shit, like they'd be like, hey, like, shooting that shit down, like, hey, fair use, okay,
yeah.
But so it's a lot harder for smaller creators, but. But yeah, you will find like other insightful media, like video essays like that on the YouTube channel Nightfall Media. But if you just want to like listen to the podcast, we're available on all major podcast streaming platforms. But just check us out. But the main ones are just Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So check us out there. But we are also on iHeartRadio,
Audible, Amazon Music.
Yeah, basically all those.
Good Cast, Pocket Cast.
So wherever you
Android users,
wherever you get your listen to your podcast, we're probably there. So hey, give us a follow at below the line podcast. I've said this before, all our links are in the description. So social media, Blue Sky,
so much easier.
Yeah, Blue Sky, social media like that, Instagram, TikTok, in the description. Check it out below or above or wherever the fuck it's YouTube or Spotify moves the fucking description thing. So yeah. Give us a follow and like there. We'd really appreciate it. If you have any insight or feedback for us, let us know in the comment. We are now in fucking full hue, so you can now see us in color and in video, as opposed to like the last year where we were just audio only. So hopefully this is enough for you guys to be like, you know what? Maybe we should participate and leave him a YouTube comment, because that Jesse guy has been asking for comments for a very long time.
He really has.
So, anyways, that's about does it for me and my my yapping. This has been Jesse. I have enjoyed speaking with you guys on this platform and on this podcast, and hopefully you guys will not kill me in the comments when I talked about Supergirl today.
Yes, thank you for listening, everybody. As Jesse said, all the way back in season 1, episode 12, the Sinners episode, where I wish I could remember the exact words, because it was truly a fantastic way to sign off. But it has been a pleasure to come and sit down and talk film with you.
Oh, that was a bar, yeah.
So, yeah, even though Supergirl wasn't what we hoped for, it was still a pleasure. And it's a pleasure to join you on your commute to work or whenever you listen to the show. So we hope you enjoyed the conversation, and we hope we didn't piss you off too much. I really tried to, give context with like why Wonder Woman succeeded, and I tried to be thoughtful about it. Like I said, I had a week to really sit with this, so I tried. But, I'm sure I still was like a little abrasive at times. So I'm sorry. Anyways.
So you did apologize. At the beginning of the episode, you were
shit.
I apologize for nothing.
I rescind that apology. Mama ain't raised no bitch. I'm not a politician.
I love it.
Yeah, I rescind the apology. I don't care about optics.
Oh, man.
I mean, great. I do in the sense that I want the show to succeed, but... Anyways,
chat, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. And 5 episodes in, now in full color and in video. Hopefully by now,
hitting our stride.
I think, now we've been hitting our stride compared to like the first early episodes. I feel better about where we're heading now.
I know you guys are gonna like episode 4.
Yeah,
and
maybe not 5, but 6 for sure.
Yeah,
but here we are, episode 7.
Yes,
here we are to sign out.
Yeah.
Only 18 more episodes to go for this season in full hue.
Yes. And even though it is in the description, I got to say it because I just feel like they're getting so much stuff. If you are a longtime listener of the show, consider becoming a patron because you are getting like 2+ exclusives a week on there. Mm-hmm. Like it's actually crazy how much the Patreon is actually getting now.
Yeah.
So... that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Additional plug.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the love the support. And now for the show acknowledgement, thank you to Levi, the maestro, for composing the theme music as well as the mixing and mastering of these episodes.
Shout out to Levi.
Thank you to Jesse for the artwork. Thank you to our producer, Maya, who, we probably should have consulted for this episode. Anyways, that's my bad. Anyways, that's going to do it for today, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
Yes.
Peace. Plants. Namaste.
These people work hard, man. Not even just at the top line, like all the people below the line work hard.